What's up, guys? Andrew here with another stimulus update. Joe Biden is about to release his next proposal for that massive stimulus package. We're going to discuss the details in this video. We're also going to cover payment dates for every single state for that $300 unemployment boost. So make sure to stick around for that. I'm going to cover every single state. We're also going to take a look at and see what congressional leaders are saying about this massive stimulus package and how Republicans might respond. But before we get into it, guys, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I'd also like to thank my sponsor, Webull. They've partnered with me to provide free stocks for my viewers, valued up to $1,600. It's completely free and takes 2 minutes. All you need to do is open an account using my link. The link is in the description of this video, just below the like button. Feel free to sell the stocks immediately and use the money if you'd like. Just make sure to open an account and then click on the green button that says Get Free Stocks. Okay, let's jump right into it. Biden plans to approve this massive stimulus package immediately, but he is worried that this impeachment process might slow down that next stimulus package, and he is urging Congress to focus on that stimulus package despite the fact that the Senate still has to vote on that impeachment. He said, in a bipartisan vote, the House voted to impeach and hold President Trump accountable. Now the process continues to the Senate, and I hope they'll deal with their constitutional responsibilities on impeachments while also working on the other urgent business of this nation as well. We are in the tooth of this crisis, and we need to take immediate action to get the virus under control. That is why today I will be laying out my vaccination and economic rescue package to beat COVID-19 and build back better. And of course, yesterday the U.S. reported its most fatalities in a single day from this illness at 4,320, guys. So our prayers go out to each and every single person who passed away and their families as well. But bottom line here, Biden is worried that all this drama with the impeachment is going to slow down that next stimulus package. Now, Biden is a bit of a moderate, but he is on record as saying that he does think Trump should be impeached. However, with everything going on, he's more focused on stimulus. And he really says, you know what, when I'm inaugurated in January 20th, we can just move on. And that's the best way to get rid of Donald Trump. And let me know in the comments if you agree. And let me know if you think Trump should be impeached. Now, let's see what Bernie had to say as well. He is highlighting the fact that Democrats are worried that they won't be able to do the impeachment and the stimulus at the same time. And he is holding Democrats accountable. Now, he said, in this unprecedented moment, the new Democratic majority must show that we can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. Yes, we must impeach Trump. Yes, we must process Biden's nominees. And yes, we must pass legislation that addresses the enormous crisis facing working families. Biden is essentially saying, hey, Democrats, you can't do two things at once. You can't walk and chew your bubblegum at the same time. We're in the middle of a crisis. Yes, we have a lot to do, and we have to do it for the American people. He is basically saying, no excuse here, Congress. Get it done. Get the stimulus package done. Get the impeachment done. Whatever it has to do, you do it all at once and get it done. And let me know in the comments if you agree. Now, despite the fact that Mitch McConnell lost his position as majority leader, he will still be the minority leader of Republicans. And again, if you look at his Twitter, his background picture still says majority, which I think is kind of funny because at the moment he still is, but as soon as those two senators from Georgia are inaugurated, he will be the minority leader. But let's clarify this, okay? He still has a lot of influence because Democrats literally only control the Senate by one vote, okay? So even though Democrats can pass whatever they want with a 51 vote, they cannot overcome a filibuster, okay? So if Mitch McConnell decides to filibuster this stimulus, he can't fully block it because Democrats still do have that loophole, that budget reconciliation we've talked about, but he can slow it down because that budget reconciliation takes a few months. This is why Biden wants to operate in a bipartisan fashion. He wants to work with McConnell and try and have McConnell convince enough Republicans to get this stimulus package approved with a 60 vote in the Senate, okay? Because if they get 60 votes in the Senate, nobody can filibuster this, okay? Because all it takes is one Republican to come out and filibuster, and these stimulus checks will not be approved quickly. And again, to clarify, a filibuster will not completely block these stimulus checks because Joe Biden is willing to use a loophole in order to get those done, but it will take a few months instead of a few weeks. Now, in a lot of ways, it does seem like Mitch McConnell is on the same page as Joe Biden. And is he done with Trump? Would Mitch McConnell be willing to actually vote yes to completely impeach and convict Trump? And will he be willing to approve a massive stimulus package with Biden, something that he has not been willing to do with Trump in the past? Now, they do have a long history of getting deals done together and actually not only respecting each other, but even liking each other. A lot of people consider these two friends. You know, Biden has a lot of years in Congress, decades actually, and has a lot of strong relationships with these people. But on that note, he seems to be on the same page so far with Biden. A lot of the things he's saying are, you know what? Let's focus on the things at hand. Let's focus on a peaceful transition and the inauguration. And we're going to have to wait on that impeachment. Now, whether or not you agree, let me know in the comments. But this is what McConnell had to say. He said, given the rules, procedures, and Senate precedents that govern presidential impeachment trials, there is simply no chance that a fair or serious trial could conclude before President-elect Biden is sworn in next week. The Senate has held 3 presidential impeachment trials in the past. They have lasted 37 days, 21 days, and 83 days, respectively. Even if the Senate process were to begin this week and move promptly, no verdict would be reached until after President Trump has left office. This is not a decision that I am making, this is a fact. The president-elect himself stated last week that his inauguration on January 20th is the quickest path for any change in the occupant of the presidency. In light of this reality, I believe it is best serve our nation if Congress and the executive branch spend the next 7 days completely focused on facilitating a safe inauguration and an orderly transfer of power to the incoming Biden administration. So you see, in a lot of ways, McConnell seems to be on the same page as Biden. Now, we're hoping that will translate to stimulus, right? We're hoping they'll be on the same page with stimulus. We'll have to wait and see how he reacts, but we should have a lot of news as far as how Republicans and McConnell react to that massive stimulus package as soon as Biden officially releases that tonight. But what is expected to be on that package, okay? Because we're not really expected to have a ton of surprises. For the most part, we know what's going to be included, but there are still some things up in the air. Now, those $2,000 stimulus checks, of course, Biden has said those will actually be $1,400, which brings the total to $2,000, counting that previous $600. Now, one thing that's unclear is, will child dependents also get that $2,000? Now, there are a lot of rumors that yes, Biden wants to include that $2,000 stimulus check for children dependents as well. So that would be a $2,000 plus $2,000 for every single child. But we'll have to wait and see for confirmation tonight. As far as that unemployment boost, it is expected that he will include a $600 per week unemployment boost through the end of the pandemic, at least until September or October. Now, again, some people think he might be willing to lower this to $300 just to get Republicans to compromise, but he is expected to propose that $600 unemployment boost per week. Now, also rental assistance, an extension of the eviction freeze, and even a child tax credit. This is something that no one is talking about, but would be a huge, huge help to millions of households. He wants to include a tax credit, which would be paid in the form of a monthly payment and provide either $250 per month for each child or $300 per month for each child, depending on the age of that child. And the cutoff is expected to be 6 years old. So if you have a child under 6 years old, you would receive $300 per month in stimulus for that child. If your child is over six or older, you would receive $250 per month, which would total $3,000 or more for the entire year. That would be a massive stimulus boost for millions of people. Now, he is also expected to try and include a $200 per month boost for those on Social Security, not just regular Social Security, but Social Security disability as well. And again, that would total over $2,000 for the year as well as including a student loan forgiveness up to $10,000 and an extension of that student loan payment freeze. Now, these last two components might have to be included through executive order. Now, he will not be able to include all of these things in the stimulus package because he is expected to try and compromise with Republicans. But with that said, Biden is on record as saying that he is willing to use executive order in order to get some of these things passed. And a couple of those things that might end up on that executive order are that student loan forgiveness and that monthly Social Security boost of $200. But guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think of this. Of course, he is also expected to include money for state and local governments to recover from this pandemic, as well as money to distribute and administer that vaccine, and money for schools to help open up safely during this pandemic. And again, he wants to do this in a bipartisan fashion, which means this proposal will include some compromises, some things that he knows Republicans want. Specifically, one thing we know Republicans want is that liability protections for business, right? But we're waiting to see exactly what other compromises he'll include and how Republicans and Mitch McConnell react. Because again, they need 60 votes in the Senate to completely avoid a filibuster. Otherwise, this stimulus package might be slowed down for a few months. And just to reiterate, that filibuster will not block stimulus completely, but it would just slow it down for a few months. This is why the relationship between Mitch McConnell and Biden is going to be really, really important. Now, despite the fact that McConnell is Republican, it's now on record that he didn't really like Trump very much, right? He's on record as saying that he hopes he never has to speak to Trump again, right? So do you think he really liked Trump very much this whole time? I mean, let me know in the comments if you do. But a lot of people say that McConnell actually likes Biden a lot more, which might help facilitate a larger stimulus package. But we'll have to wait and see tonight how Republicans counteroffer and how this thing unfolds over the next couple of days. So don't forget to subscribe. I will keep you updated on that massive stimulus package, those $2,000 stimulus checks, as well as the unemployment boost. But guys, let's jump right into the unemployment boost that is currently being paid, that $300 per week unemployment boost, and payment dates for every single state. Now, some states have already begun paying. Over half of states are already paying, and we do have payment dates for most of the states that have not begun paying yet. And I just want to clarify that these payment dates are for unemployment in general. Now, if you're on traditional unemployment, you will be receiving your payments a lot faster than those who are on PUA or PEUC. Now, the only way to clarify the exact date you'll begin receiving those is to actually go on your unemployment portal, your UI portal for your state, and they should have the most up-to-date information. But this is a general overview for payment dates for every single state's $300 unemployment boost. And again, if you're on PUA or PEUC, your payment might come a week or so later than this, but it should be coming soon. And bottom line here, all states are expected to pay out by the end of January. So even if your payments are delayed, keep that in mind. Worst case scenario, you should begin receiving your unemployment boost by the end of January. I know that's completely late and completely ridiculous. It should not take over a month to start sending out these payments. But guys, I just want to tell you the truth here, because if you have payments due, if you have rent due, if you have bills to pay, you're going to want to let those people know, like, hey, I'm going to pay, but I'm waiting for my unemployment benefits, and worst case scenario, they'll be coming at the end of January. So let those people know so they can expect to get those payments at the end of January and potentially avoid charging you late fees, okay? But let's jump right into payment dates for every single state. January 6th is when Alabama began paying. Alaska, we still don't have an estimated payment date. Arizona began paying January 3rd. Arkansas, still no estimated payment dates. California began paying January 3rd, but most people will not begin receiving their payments until this week, starting January 10th. Colorado, still no estimated payment dates, but they might not pay till the end of January. Connecticut began paying January 3rd. Delaware, January 4th. DC, still no estimated payment dates. Florida, still no estimated payment date. Georgia, January 2nd. Hawaii, January 11th, people began receiving their payments. Idaho began paying January 2nd. Illinois, January 7th. Indiana began paying January 8th. Iowa, January 15th. Kansas, still no estimated payment dates. Kentucky, still no estimated payment dates. Louisiana, January 4th. Maine, January 2nd. Maryland, January 5th. Massachusetts, January 6th. Michigan, still no estimated payment dates. Minnesota and Mississippi, January 3rd. Missouri, January 18th. Montana, January 5th. Nebraska, January 8th. Nevada, January 6th. New Hampshire, January 5th. New Jersey, January 12th. So you should begin receiving your payments this week if you're in New Jersey. New Mexico, January 18th. New York, January 3rd. North Carolina, January 6th. North Dakota, still no estimated payment dates. Ohio says third week of January, so it's a little unclear there, but around the third week of January. Oklahoma, January 7th. Oregon, January 7th. Pennsylvania, January 12th. Rhode Island, January 3rd. South Carolina, January 9th. South Dakota, January 13th. Tennessee, January 3rd. Texas, January 7th. Utah, January 7th. Vermont, January 11th. Virginia, January 8th. Washington, January 15th. West Virginia, January 3rd. Wisconsin, still no estimated payment dates, and Wyoming, January 16th. So there are the estimated payment dates for every single state. If your state still has not begun paying, don't forget to subscribe. I will keep you posted daily. But again, don't forget to check that unemployment portal for your specific state to have the most up-to-date and specific information. But with that being said, guys, let's look at a quick video which covers exactly what Biden's economic plan is expected to be and how Republicans might respond. Let's take a look and see what Bloomberg had to say.
And thanks so much for joining us. The fact that today's U.S. jobless claims jumped to 965,000, far outpacing estimates, shows that the road to economic recovery in the wake of COVID-19 will be long. But help might be on the way. Just today, President-elect Biden is set to unveil a relief package that some expect to be as much as $2 trillion. But the timing for Congress to debate and vote on the legislation is unclear, as Trump's impeachment trial may consume the Senate's agenda for several weeks. Bloomberg White House reporter Jennifer Epstein and Bloomberg joins us now, and she's from Washington. Jennifer, thanks so much for being here. What can we expect will be part of Biden's economic relief plan when it's unveiled?
Biden has kind of previewed this quite a lot. I don't think that there will be too many surprises in here. I think it's a combination of things that he talked about throughout his campaign, as well as, that he's been talking about more recently in response to the COVID relief bill that was passed by Congress in December. And he kind of wants to extend that. One thing is that there were the $600 direct checks. He and Chuck Schumer and other Democratic leaders want to bump that up to a total of $2,000 for this round of direct relief. There's also things like extending unemployment benefits, which expire in a few weeks, and so it's really about just kind of giving a direct shot in the arm to the economy, no pun intended, considering that the vaccine is a big piece of this. And then from there, there is going to be some kind of medium term spending that he is going to lay out and talk about.
What are the most ambitious elements on this, ones that are potentially going to face the most challenge getting through? I won't say divided Congress, but a Senate with just the absolute slimmest of majorities for Democrats.
Yeah, I think it will probably in part just be what the top line dollar amount is. We're anticipating it may be around $2 trillion, and that may just be a level to which the Republicans don't want to go. The Biden team is kind of jumping into this, saying they want to get bipartisan support for this bill. And, I think Biden himself really does want to be able to get some Republican senators on board and to show in this first, big piece of legislation that he can fulfill his campaign promise of working across the aisle in a real way. And also, he doesn't, there just kind of procedurally within the Senate, there is this budget reconciliation process, which could be used to do many of the things that are being proposed, not all of them. And so, it is possible that they could go down that route, but really he would like to go with a bigger piece of legislation, bipartisan support, show that at least on things like COVID relief, which should be nonpartisan, which should be bipartisan, that he can bring the sides together and, save the capital of the political capital of ramming something through in a partisan fashion for when it's needed on something a bit, more controversial and a bit toward Democrats' longer-term policy goals.
Jennifer, we saw jobless claims jump to 965,000 today. The relief is needed, and it's needed soon. Given that the Senate will have to